The top stories tonight in Y News. The Philippine National Police is hoping to resolve the dismissal case against Police Senior Master Sergeant Jonel Huesga within 30 days.
COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila is now increasing ahead of the holidays.
President Rodrigo Duterte is keen on implementing a nationwide total firecracker ban. Know why watching violence on screens have a negative impact on children.
The Vatican permits Catholics to receive COVID-19 vaccines that use cells derived from aborted fetuses.
And shoppers clean hands and phones with high-tech wash stations in Japan. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, December 22, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news, the Philippine National Police has found Police Senior Master Sergeant Jonel Huesga violating a police protocol in using his service firearm and killing his neighbors in Tarlac. Meanwhile, the PNP insists that they are holding neuropsychiatric tests for officers on a regular basis. Leia Ilagan explains why.
There is no imminent danger or threat in the life of Police Senior Master Sergeant Jonel Huesga, the policeman who shot his neighbor in Panique, Tarlac last Sunday. Philippine National Police spokesperson Police Brigadier General Ildebrandi Osana says Huesga violated the police operational procedure in using his gun against Sonia and his son Frank Anthony Gregorio.
In that case, hindi po dapat talaga mag-employ ng unnecessary force ang polis, lalo na paggamit ng firearm. So mali po yung ginawa ni Sergeant Huesga in this case kasi wala pong sufficient provocation doon po sa pangyayari yun. Kahit na po alipustahin siya, kahit na po gawan siya ng kung ano-anong mga masamang pananalita, meron siyang training that makes him control his emotions at hindi po siya magpapadala sa anumang mga akusasyon na ile-level sa kanya dahil pulis po siya.
Osana explains there are other ways in which a police could arrest a person without using a firearm, such as negotiations, warning, using an armed self-defense technique, and non-lethal weapon to tame the aggressive individual. If in case it did not work out and the life of the policeman is in great danger, that's the time he can use his firearms.
Kung sakali man ng aggressive person ay armado din at may planong ikaw ay parisin, kaya kailangan mo rin i-depensa ang sarili mo.
However, PNP Chief Police General De Bolsina says a police officer can bring his firearm even he is in plain clothes and off duty. Even the president said the police should bring their firearms to protect themselves.
Now, ang mga tao po namin ay 24/7 alert po yan. Anything, pwede sila mag-respond, pwede po sila mag-act kung mayroong tinatawag call of duty. Hindi po namin yung magbabawalan yan.
We are asking for NAPOLCOM directives on the matter, but we are still received no words from them up to this time. Meanwhile, the PNP also confirmed that police personnel are regularly undergoing neuropsychiatric tests. It is conducted during the renewal of their license to own and possess firearms or LTAP, requirement for their schooling and trainings, and during the application of their promotion. PNP Legal Service Acting Deputy Director, Police Colonel Arthur Llamas, gave advice to the civilian facing an arrest. He said to always stay calm.
Para hindi na po mag-aggravate yung situation, quiet na lang po sila and then magpa-aresto na lang po sila at doon na lang po sila magpaliwanag during the time of the investigation. Kasi po kung makikita during investigation na wala namang offense, makakasuhan po natin yung police ng illegal arrest.
Refrain from resisting arrest to avoid aggravating the situation.
Pag sinaktan po kayo ng police, you have remedies thereafter. Para itong police na to ay kasuhan nyo, ipatanggal po natin sa serbisyo.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Internal Affairs Service of the Philippine National Police said it aims to complete within a month the dismissal proceedings against Police Senior Master Sergeant Janelle Luezga. The officer was also linked to 2 homicide cases last year, but both were dismissed by the police. Leia Ilagan is back to tell us why.
5 cases were filed against Police Senior Master Sergeant Janelle Luezga years ago. This includes serious neglect of duty for not attending a court hearing as witness in a drug case. He was also suspended for 1 month for less grave neglect of duty for failing to undergo drug test on 2014, while the grave misconduct or homicide last May and December 2019 were also dismissed. Taguig Chief of Police Colonel Celso Rodriguez says Luezga killed 2 drug suspects in a different drug operation in Barangay Signal Village, Taguig in 2013 to 2014. Luezga was then assigned in Taguig Police Community Precinct 4.
Hindi naman talaga ma'am nag-operate as in na well-planned na operation yan kasi only the drug enforcement unit of this station ang authorized na mag-operate yan to bypass operation. However, ang mga police natin is mandated sila na manghuli kapag meron silang personal knowledge.
ES Inspector General Attorney Alfigar Triambulo said the case were dismissed due to lack of evidence in the claim or argument of the complainant against Luezga.
Lumabas po doon na talagang ang pagkamatay ng suspect ay lumaban doon sa kanila kaya sila po ay napilitang bumarel at napatay nila in the performance of duty ayon sa ating pong batas, Article 11 ng Revised Penal Code. Yan po ay justifying circumstances.
Triambulo said they will finish the investigation on the administrative case against Luezga in 30 days and submit their recommendation to the Chief PNP.
Kasi substantial evidence lang naman natin, yun ay sapat na po yun na tayo ay maniwala na siya po ay may kasalanan. No? Kitang-kita naman po. Kaya sabi ko nga ay siya po ay subasin yan sa dyan ay guilty na pero bigyan po natin siyang pagkakataon o tinatawag na due process kasi yan po ay karapatan niya po na ating saligang batas.
If sentenced found guilty of grave misconduct, Luezga will be dismissed from service and his benefits will be forfeited and he cannot work to any government agency. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte condemned the brutal death of a mother and son in Tarlac in the hands of a policeman, saying the latter should rot in jail. Meanwhile, Malacanang said it would let Congress decide on the fate of the proposed reinstatement of the death penalty in the country following the incident. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
It is still a priority for the Duterte administration to reimpose the capital punishment or death penalty in the country. However, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said this is up to Congress to decide on the issue.
Ang pagpapasa po ng death penalty, pagbubuhay, yan po ay sa mulat-mula prioridad ng ating presidente, pero nakasalalay po ang mangyayari dyan sa batas na yan sa kamay siyempre ng mga mambabatas ng mababang kapulungan at ng ating Senado.
Meanwhile, the palace said Police Senior Master Sergeant Janelle Luezga cannot invoke any defense related to insanity. President Rodrigo Duterte wondered how the police officer passed the neuropsychiatric examinations, which is required of police applicants. The president wanted the policeman to rot in jail.
Isa lang itong klaseng pulis na to. May sakit ito sa utak. Tupak. Di ba sinabi ko? You do it right, I'm with you. You do it wrong, and there will be hell to pay.
He also directed the Philippine National Police to make sure the cop will be detained.
ikulong ninyo yun. Huwag ninyo bitawan yung yawa na yan. I'd like to call the PNP. Be sure that he is detained. He should not be allowed to go out. Kasi serious offense yan. There's no bail. So, hindi makabail yan. So, diretso-diretso na yan.
Currently, there are more than 20 bills filed across both houses of Congress to reinstate the death penalty for drug crimes. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The daughter of Police Senior Master Sergeant Joel Nuesca will undergo counseling after witnessing the shooting incident in Paniki, Tarlac, a police official said Tuesday. Paniki Police Station Chief Police Lieutenant Noriel Rombawa said they have coordinated the matter with the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD. He added children from the victim's family will also undergo counseling. In the now viral video, Nuesca's daughter was in the scene where her father was having a heated argument with victims Sonia and Gregorio and her son Frank Anthony. She was also heard in the video shouting at the victims, "My father is a policeman." The tussle ended as Nuesca shot the mother and son multiple times. The cop is now under police custody and is facing 2 counts of murder charges. Interior and Local Government Secretary Eduardo Año earlier vowed to ensure that justice will be given to the family of the victims and that the cop involved in the shooting incident will account for his crimes.
A health expert has warned on the negative impact to children watching violent videos like the video of the police shooting his neighbor in Tarlac that went viral online. Please be advised that some videos in this report may be inappropriate for children. Ray Pelayo reports.
Like the speed-up bullet, the controversial 2-minute video of an altercation in Paniki, Tarlac went viral on social media just hours after the incident. Various memes were also uploaded on social media in diverse presentations of what happened. Some say what enraged the policeman the most was when Sonia Gregorio, the 52-year-old victim, teased his daughter, who first taunted the woman by pulling her hair. Reacting to the video, psychologist Dr. Camille Garcia said the incident definitely will cause a huge impact to the girl, who personally witnessed how her father brutally killed 2 persons in front of her. Not only to her, but the video would also cause psychological effects to other minors who by chance may have watched it, given that children nowadays are given free access to social media.
Parang sa akin, kung yung tatay ko police, hindi ko maintindihan kung magiging inferior ako sa ibang tao or yung talagang hindi ako kikibo. Tapos kasi pwedeng sabihin ng mga kalaro ko, "Uy, di ba yung tatay mo police? Ganyan din ba doon sa nakita ko?" Di ba parang yung magkakaroon ng comparison.
It could also give a negative connotation to the profession in the minds of other minors.
Di ba pag tinatanong mo, anong gusto mo paglaki mo maging police? Tapos ang sasabihin, makakita ng ganyan, anong iniisip nila, kailangan mamamaril ang police? Or it's the other way around na ayoko na maging police kasi nakakatakot biglang pumapatay ng tao.
Another implication, Dr. Garcia said, is that a minor could lose his or her sense of compassion from watching the video if not given proper guidance by his or her parents or guardians.
It can lead yung possibility na a person might succumb to a sociopathic behavior, meaning to say, nawawala yung konsensya niya, nawawala yung sa kanya parang it's so ordinary na makakita ng violence, and then eventually pwede rin siyang gumawa ng something na of a violent in nature na act. Pag yung talagang sabihin natin, may kakayahan na siyang gumawa nun.
Dr. Garcia insists that Nuesca's daughter should be given proper counseling or debriefing witnessing such a traumatic incident.
Sabihin na natin na traumatized din yung bata dito, she will really need a lot of counseling and therapy for that matter kasi it can really affect yung possible personality nito. Because remember, Ray, pagdating ng 17, 18 years old, yan, doon nabubuo yung personalidad ng bata eh.
She advised parents whose children may have watched the video to explain to them very carefully, as the child's concept of what is right and wrong may be compromised.
It's about how to be God-fearing. Na pag sinabi natin na, oh, dapat kung may takot ka sa Diyos, wala kang dahilan para pumatay. Kung meron man ikaw makakaaway, ganito ang dapat natin gawin. Yung mga ganong bagay.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
President Rodrigo Duterte is scheduled to sign the proposed 4.5 trillion peso national budget for 2021 on December 28. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said in a virtual press conference the ceremonial signing of the proposed 2021 national budget will be held in President Duterte's hometown, Davao City. Roque said 5 representatives, each from the Senate and the House of Representatives, will be invited to witness the signing of the proposed 2021 General Appropriations Act.
And for those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on the right side of your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook.
Days before the long holiday, the North Luzon Expressway has been preparing for the possible surge of motorists. Meanwhile, cash lanes will remain open in various expressways to give way for non-regular travelers who still have no RFID stickers. Harleen Delgado tells us why.
There were no major delays in the RFID lanes at the Balintawak Toll Plaza of the North Luzon Expressway earlier today, days before the long holiday. However, long queues can be seen along the cash lanes on the right, where motorists can also reload their RFIDs. According to the ANLEX Corporation, its average daily traffic is at 288,000 as of November, which was lower by 25 to 30% compared to last year. And from this, they are expecting a 10 to 12% increase of vehicles this holiday season. According to ANLEX Corporation Senior Vice President for Communications Attorney Junji Kimbo, the cash lanes will remain open for motorists who still have no RFID stickers.
We expect a little more queues as we near Christmas on the cash lanes. Balintawak is obviously a main gateway to the north, so you can see our motorists who have not yet gotten their RFID stickers, they still have to queue on the cash lanes. But we're trying to move it as fast as possible.
The ANLEX Corporation believes motorists are now adapting to the cashless transactions. Kimbo said 90% of motorists plying their expressways are now using RFIDs every day, while 10% are still paying toll fees in cash. He also assured that their RFID system has been improved and that the removal of RFID installations and toll gates have helped in easing the traffic buildup.
The instances of glitches are going down. We of course record every possible glitch that happens, but the smoother flow in traffic at the toll gate, especially along the RFID lanes, has shown marked improvements. There are no more long queues there.
Around 1,200 marshals have been deployed by ANLEX since Friday for security patrol, emergency assistance, and RFID assistance. Motorists with no RFID stickers who will pass through the RFID lanes by mistake will still be allowed to pay in cash to avoid delays. Meanwhile, the SMC Tollways also said cash entry lanes in South Luzon Expressway or SLEX, NAIA X, Star, and Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway or TPLEX will remain open. Motorists who have yet to have their cars installed with RFID stickers will not be apprehended until January 11, 2021. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Experts monitoring the coronavirus pandemic in the country expressed concern on the increasing cases of COVID-19 in Metro Manila, adding that a surge already started in the region ahead of the holidays. Aiko Miguel explains why live. Yes, Aiko, good evening.
Yes, William, good evening. Metro Manila remains the epicenter of pandemic in the Philippines. Based on the report of the UP Octa research team, there are 428 cases recorded in Metro Manila last December 13 to 19. This is an increase from 370 cases per day from December 6 to 12. This has been the highest recorded case trend in Metro Manila in the last 2 months. William, currently the reproduction number in Metro Manila is at 1.15. This means a person positive of COVID-19 may infect more than one person. According to Octa Research, the downward trend in NCR has ended. That is why the Octa Research is encouraging local government units to strictly monitor and implement 10-person rule gathering in areas under general community quarantine. Here is Dr. David from the Octa Research team.
Kunyari, 400 cases per day na tayo. Pag tuloy-tuloy na tumaas yung reproduction number, kasi ngayon nasa 1.15 yung reproduction number sa Metro Manila. Pwedeng tumalon yan bigla. In 30 days, nasa more than 1,000 cases na tayo per day. Mabilis tumaas yan. Huwag natin hayaan na tumaas siya ng hindi.
William, the National Task Force is also aware of the increasing COVID-19 case trend in NCR. This is why they are preparing for it by putting up additional modular isolation tents for severe and critical COVID-19 patients. 44 units will be fully operational next month at Quezon Institute in Quezon City. Here are the National Task Force czars.
Pwede para sa mga severe and critical patients. Lalo na ngayon, hopefully, knock on wood, hindi naman grabe ang magiging Christmas and New Year surge natin. Pero kung sakasakali, ready tayo dito sa Metro Manila at magiging ready din tayo sa mga ibang lugar dahil kung ano ang ginawa dito is gagawin din sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas.
Primarily for the critical and severe kasi ito yung the most critical factor because if you are not able to take care and manage critical and severe cases, tataas yung case fatality rate natin. It would really zoom up. So it has to be there that the proper care and management of severe and critical must be operational.
Ito ay isang pasilidad at sana po pinagdadasal po natin na sana hindi na kailangan gamitin, but nevertheless we in government under the orders of President Duterte, we are prepared for every possible scenario.
William, experts and authorities continue to remind the public to avoid attending social gatherings and going to crowded places. People are also advised to just stay at home so cases will not continuously surge in Metro Manila and other regions seen with increasing case trend this holiday season. And that is the latest live. Back to you, William.
Thank you. Aiko Miguel reporting live.
There were additional coronavirus disease cases recorded in the country today. The new cases pushed the nationwide case count to 462,815 based on the latest DOH bulletin. COVID-19 related deaths also jumped to 9,021 after 66 more fatalities were confirmed. Also, the number of recoveries increased to 429,419 after 247 more patients beat the disease. The new recoveries and deaths left the number of active cases in the country at 24,375. Some regions in the country may have a different quarantine classification by next year. Rosalie Cos explains why.
3 regions in the country have seen an increase in the healthcare utilization rate nearing the moderate level. As of December 19, the Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR has reached 52% of the total bed utilization rate. Region 11 or Davao Region has 51% and Region 4A or Calabarzon has 44%. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, this is one of the bases for tightening the quarantine classification over a certain region. The 3 regions are being monitored and the quarantine classifications to be imposed may change in January 2021.
Kapag tumaas na po yung regional healthcare utilization at tumaas ang attack rate, yan po yung dahilan para mabago ang quarantine classification sa isang lugar.
In Metro Manila, the utilization rate of hospital beds and mechanical ventilators remains low, though there is a slight increase in the 2-week growth rate of COVID-19 in the capital. Meanwhile, the government has no decision whether or not to impose travel ban against travelers coming from the United Kingdom due to the coronavirus strain.
Sa ngayon naman po, basta sumunod po sa ating protocol na quarantine bago lumabas ang PCR test, tingin ko safe naman po tayo. Pero tama po kayo, panahon na para i-consider yung temporary travel ban sa UK.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
More than 3,000 members of the communist and local terrorist groups in the country have been neutralized by the armed forces of the Philippines this year. Thus, the AFP is optimistic to permanently neutralize terrorist groups within President Rodrigo Duterte's term. Dante Amento tells us why live. Yes, Dante?
Harleen, the Armed Forces of the Philippines is continuously conducting focused and offensive military operations against the CPP, NPA, and DF, particularly the New People's Army, and the local terrorist groups, including the Abu Sayyaf Group, BIFF, and other affiliated groups. Based on the AFP's report, some 522 local terrorist groups members were neutralized. 134 of them were killed, including Abu Sayyaf leaders Furuji Indama and Hatib Hajan Sawadjaan. 39 were apprehended and 349 had surrendered. 416 assorted firearms had recovered by the military troops. Meanwhile, a total of 2,843 NPA combatants were also neutralized, including 135 high-ranking personalities of the CPP, NPA, and DF. 1,724 firearms were recovered and 10 guerrillas were dismantled across the country. NPA initiated violence such as robbery, extortion, and kidnapping this year had reduced to 78 as compared with 113 last 2019. The AFP adds, for now, there are about 600 remaining local terrorist groups members in the country, particularly in areas of Basilan, Sulu, and Central Mindanao, and 3,700 active New People's Army guerrillas.
As a result of our relentless operations, we have neutralized and captured most of their top leaders. For the CPP-NPA, marami tayong na-capture and neutralized coming from the Central Committee at the national level. We have the regional level leaders hanggang front committee level. Right now, they're experiencing leadership vacuum.
Thus, AFP Chief of Staff General Gilbert Gapay says they remain positive to permanently neutralize those threat groups within President Duterte's term until 2022. There is an existing National Task Force Against Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC, a whole-of-the-nation approach to fight communism. The AFP had also acquired some assets to really help this campaign.
The armed capabilities of these threat groups have really gone down, and we have significantly degraded them. In no time, we'll be able to permanently put closure or put an end in this. And yes, we're doing our best to comply with the President's directive.
Harleen, for now, the Armed Forces of the Philippines is also monitoring and preparing for possible attacks of the NPA on their 52nd anniversary that will be on the 26th of this month. And that's the latest live. Back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Dante Amento, reporting live. A 4.9 magnitude earthquake jolted Quezon Province early this morning. According to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, the quake occurred around 2:14 a.m. Its epicenter was recorded 20 kilometers north and 45 degrees west of General Nakar town. The tremor was of tectonic origin and had a depth of 15 kilometers. The agency said the quake did not cause damage, but aftershocks are expected.
And for those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on the right side of your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook.
Firecracker manufacturers might want to look for another source of livelihood amid government plans to ban these dangerous items in the near future. Asher Cadapan Jr. explains why.
President Rodrigo Roa Duterte reiterated his aim to totally ban firecracker use in the country.
Bakit ko payagan na yung puputok na maraming madisgrasya, maraming mamatay? And even if it's only one child losing one finger, it's bad enough that it should put government on notice.
The chief executive also calls out the lack of warranty of firecrackers being produced by manufacturers.
Wala akong nakita na may hinabol ang gobyerno at nakulong dahil sa inferior or wrongly manufactured firecrackers. Wala tayong mahabol sa inyo. Basta kayo balot lang ng balot, walang warranties.
This came after the Regional Peace and Order Council released a resolution last week banning the use and selling of firecrackers this holiday season. The vendors agreed to follow the implementation of the ban, but appeals to authorities to allow them to sell the firecrackers they already purchased for their livelihood.
Next year na lang kami, wala. Pero ngayon payagan niya na kasi nakapamili na po kami, nakapangutang na kami.
Maghanap na po kami na ibang hanap buhay, hindi na po dito. Patapos, paubos lang po nila tong
Some vendors also complained about the sudden implementation of the firecracker ban in Metro Manila, explaining that it should have been announced months prior.
Ngayon dapat kung wala, maaga pa lang, sinabi na nilang wala na. Total wala na. Wala naman kami magagawa kung talagang wala na. Ngayon napapagod kasi kami ng ganito kung papasukin kami ng manghuhuli. Siyempre may puhunan yan eh. Inutang lang namin yan.
Some Metro Manila residents, on the other hand, expressed their favor towards the banning of firecrackers.
Kasi yun ang tradisyon na kagisnan natin eh. Kahit pa ilaw man lang, okay na. Kasi mahirap pag mapaputok, nakakadisgrasya yun.
Unang-una, maingay. Tsaka may mga bata rito na mahina yung baga eh. Kaya kung pwede lang, wag na tayo magpaputok ngayon pang Pasko, tsaka bagong taon.
The National Capital Region Police Office are tasked to apprehend violators of firecracker ban, although it allows organized fireworks display in safe areas and communities designated by the local government unit. Asher Cadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, here's Stephanie C. reporting live from Hong Kong.
Good evening, William. The Vatican permits Catholics to receive COVID-19 vaccines that are used cells derived from aborted fetuses. Marvin Delphine will give us the details live. Marvy?
Steph, being vaccinated against COVID-19 is now morally acceptable for Roman Catholics as deemed by the Vatican after anti-abortion religious advocates flagged ethical concerns about how the vaccines were researched and manufactured. According to the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, or USCCB, which issued a separate note to American Catholics last week, both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines have some link to cell lines that came from fetal tissue aborted in the 1960s and 1970s, and that often have been replicated since. Now that the first vaccines against COVID-19 are already available for distribution and administration in various countries, the head congregation for the doctrine of the faith signed and issued the note on Monday to address the topic after several requests for guidance and clarifications on the matter debated within the clergy. The Sovereign Pontiff Francis examined the note and ordered its publication. The Watchdog Office for Doctrinal Orthodoxy said that the declaration was not a full endorsement of vaccines and does not indicate a cooperation with any acts of abortion, which is considered a grave sin in the Catholic Church. The Vatican notes that the use of such vaccines was permitted as long as there were no alternatives, and that the granting of moral legitimacy was related to the principle
of differing degrees of responsibility of cooperation in evil. In its statement, the Vatican explained that obtaining vaccines that do not pose an ethical dilemma is not always possible, and that while the use of vaccines was voluntary and as a rule not a moral obligation, the common good may recommend vaccination, especially to protect the weakest and most exposed. The Vatican understands that health authorities do not allow citizens to choose the vaccine with which to be inoculated. Given these circumstances, the Vatican reassured its followers that getting a COVID-19 vaccine jab would not violate the Church's teachings. The religious institution also urged the pharmaceutical industry to develop completely ethical vaccines and for governments and international organizations to make them accessible to poor nations. While the Vatican did not give a word on whether Pope Francis would be vaccinated against the coronavirus ahead of his pilgrimage to Iraq set for early March next year. Steph?
Thank you, Marvy, for that report. The World Health Organization cautioned against the major alarm escalating in different countries over a new coronavirus strain that emerged in Britain. Maeve Doug will tell us why. Maeve?
Steph, WHO officials have put a positive light upon the discovery of the new coronavirus strain, which drove several countries to impose travel restrictions, saying that the variant is a normal part of a pandemic's evolution. They explained that although there is no evidence from Britain's data that the variant is more deadly than existing strains, it appeared to spread more easily, making it responsible for 60% of new cases in London. But the new tools used to track the virus are also working. Here's what WHO Emergencies Chief Mike Ryan said in an online briefing.
We have to find a balance. It's very important to have that transparency. It's very important to tell the public the way it is, but it's also important to get across that this is a normal part of virus evolution.
United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson described the variant as 70% more transmissible than existing COVID-19 strains, while British Health Secretary Matt Hancock alarmingly stated the new variant is out of control, with the UK recording 35,928 new cases, the amount doubled from last week. Despite the fast-moving nature of this variant, WHO stated that it is still less transmissible than diseases like mumps, and that the coronavirus mutations that have emerged so far had been slower than with influenza. WHO officials also said that while the COVID-19 vaccines should also be able to handle new variants, examinations are still underway to ensure it stays this way. Now here's what WHO's chief scientist Soumya Swaminathan said during the briefing.
So far, even though we've seen a number of changes, a number of mutations, none has made a significant impact on either the susceptibility of the virus to any of the currently used therapeutics, drugs, or the vaccines under development. And one hopes that that will continue to be the case.
Furthermore, WHO is expecting to get more details on the potential impact of this new and highly infectious strain in the coming days. Back to you, Steph.
Thank you, Maeve, for that report. Tokyo's Ginza district shopping centers revolutionize hand hygiene with high-tech hand wash stations to battle against the COVID spread. Early Briones will tell us why live. Early?
Stephanie, with the third wave of COVID-19 threatening the cities of Japan, Tokyo's Ginza shopping district shows off its 20 newly installed hand washing stations that are set to revolutionize the way hand washing is done, taking the public community to the next level of hand hygiene and making the world more sanitary and pleasant. Wota Corporation, led by Chief Executive Yosuke Maeda, developed the first of its kind hand wash stations with high technological features. With no plumbing or water access requirements and only minimal power source needed, the wash stations involve a state-of-the-art 3-stage water recycling process of membrane filtration, chlorine, and deep UV irradiation, allowing instant installation and functionality anywhere, anytime. Not only that, the stations include a special 30-second ultraviolet sterilization compartment for dirty mobile phones while users are busy washing their hands. This innovative smartphone feature, Maida highlights, should be the appealing invitation for more people to start washing their hands and improve their hygiene. The corporation had long been developing the machines since COVID-19 broke out early this year to relieve long lines in restrooms and alleviate the lack of available wash stations in public places. However, Maida wanted to implement the machines sooner than expected due to the third COVID wave that recently hit Japan and provide the public with a better, more advanced platform for stopping the spread. With 20 machines now set up around the Ginza district and 4,000 units already being shipped nationwide, WOTA then aims to expand internationally, with most inquiries already coming from the US. Stephanie?
Thank you, Early reporting live. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. For those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on the right side of your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. Back to you, William.
Thank you, Stephanie C., reporting live from Hong Kong.
And those are the reasons behind the news, December 22, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.